China has been on a buying spree globally. Real estate, businesses, and land have been winding up in the hands of China investors and government-owned entities. This spending has allowed a boom to form in various markets across the world, in many cases leading to a massive bubbles. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Now, in contradiction to what I've just said, China has issued strict controls on overseas investments. Let's look at that today among so many other issues, beginning right here. China issuing strict controls over overseas investment. Government to announce new measures intended to curb capital flight. China plans to clamp tighter controls on Chinese companies seeking to invest overseas, intensifying efforts to slow a surge in capital fleeing offshore amid tepid growth and uncertain economic outlook. So they're changing things right here, and it isn't something that's going to happen overnight. It isn't something that's going to make, waves and waves of difference all overnight. Keep that in mind, but understand that if they do implement these measures right away, that it does take a little bit of time, but will certainly have an effect. And look at what happened in Vancouver. Vancouver home sales fall 39%. 39% is new rules chill the market. This is huge because there was such a big bubble going on in Vancouver, and it was so overheated that it needed something to stop that. And not stop it, but let's say slow it down. And this seems to have worked very well. They implemented a 15% tax on foreign buyers, and immediately it had an effect. Sure, the prices are still astronomical, but it had an effect. That's what's important. Let's go into this here. Chinese companies' debt. Many of them in their earnings have shown that the amount of debt they're carrying is far beyond what their earnings are at this time. This happens to be just a few. Their earnings, the EBITDA ratio compared to their debt. That's the earnings to debt, okay? So you're looking at that, and these are just a few examples, obviously very prominent examples. And, when you're having 83 times debt to earnings ratio, things are messed up. And that's the kind of thing that we're running into. It's like the .com craze all over again. It's not just China, but we're just highlighting that at this time. Government workers now outnumber manufacturing by 9,977,000. So when you think about it, what's happening is that there is an expansion of government to be there as the crutch for the failure in the economy. And this is a very clear example, particularly with manufacturing. Manufacturing is dying. It's going over to China and other places, being replaced by automation, being replaced by robotics. And you look at this, the government has to step in and provide this, be that safety net. This right here might be a little hard to see. However, we're looking at the dry ships. This is one very important indicator for imports and exports for the general economy, I do believe. And although it may be a little difficult to see, you are looking at essentially leading up into the US election results. It's flatlined. And then Trump gets in, and all of a sudden it goes up to global trade is back on. The financial analysts out there are saying, look, everything is great, everything is just fine. And then a week passes, you hit the peak, and it comes right back down. And what does this tell you? It shows you that nothing really has changed at this time. So we need to be a little more cautious and understand that there is volatility in the markets. Do not be sucked in to anything that you see in the financial media, because we know it's all rigged, it's all propaganda. And I just wanted to note that the Russell 2000 is on I believe it's like a 16-day winning streak at this time, extending massive gains. So it isn't the S&P or the Dow Jones that are doing well at this time right now. The Russell is on a hot streak. There's no doubt. This right here is the propaganda or not list. And according to these individuals, they are saying that these websites are part of Russian propaganda. All right. Interesting. I'm sure that every country has propaganda. There's no doubt. But the only reason I'm mentioning this is that, first of all, anybody who's on here and is not part of propaganda should consider this as a badge of honor. And one of the individuals I want to highlight from here is SGT Report. Congratulations to you for ending up on here, because that means, as far as I'm concerned, that means that they know you're on to something, and they have to put this garbage out there and say that you're part of Russian propaganda. And SGT, congrats to you. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. Last but not least, if you found this video informative, I know you will find my book, The Money GPS, even more informative. You can actually look through it. Just go over to Amazon, where they have a look inside feature that will allow you to flip through the pages of the book and see if you like it. Take care.